I don't mean that negatively, okay? For example, if you are taking notes and your pen runs out of ink, you've got a problem. But you don't even think about it. You just automatically go into problem-solving mode. And you will, ask the standing next to you for a pen or pencil. Our children aren't innately born with those problem-solving skills, but of course they can learn. An example that I'll often use is you get up in the morning. You want to wear a certain shirt. You go to your closet, it's not there, you get another one. You want to wear a certain pair of shoes, you can only find the left one. You look around for a minute, you end up with another pair of shoes. You walk out to the kitchen and you want to have frosted flakes for breakfast. There is a box in the cabinet. You open it up, the box is empty, so you have an Eggo waffle instead. You get ready to leave the house and your keys are always in that bowl on the counter. You go for them, they're not there. You look for them, you find them, you're on your way. You arrive here and a fellow Santa says, "How was your morning?" And you say, "Fine." Because those things happen all the time. But if you are a child with autism and you go to the closet anticipating wearing a certain shirt and that shirt is not there, what does our child do? Meltdowns or freezes because he doesn't know how to problem solve. For example, problem solving could be that I want to go stand near Santa, but there's something in the way. And I don't know, it's too high for me to step over, and I thought about going around, so I don't know what to do. I am stuck. And because I really want this very badly, I might melt down. And I might not even have the problem-solving skills to say, "Can you help me?" Does that make sense? Okay. And problem-solving includes almost everything in life, such as this example, kind of a humorous look at problem solving.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Anybody out there? What?
Telephone.
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are 2 people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna try.
Well, there's nothing left to do. That's it.
Hello? Hey, don't worry about it. I'll fix it in a second.
You said you can fix it. All right. All right. That's more like it. You said you can fix it.
Some of the problems that children with autism encounter, if you don't understand the autistic brain, you might think, well, that's not a problem. But for our kids with autism, incidents that we consider to be small can be major. We also know that our kids are little. They have difficulty understanding jokes, riddles, and sarcasm. By the way, sarcasm is not nice. And they believe that every word has one meaning. And, like if you were to say, "I am over the moon with this," the child with autism would say, "No, you're not. You're right here on the ground." So, you need to make sure, and we'll talk about how to be literal with our kids. Here are some examples. Here is a worksheet that says, Bobby has 4 dimes, Amy has 30 pennies, which child has more? Our child with autism said Bobby. The next question was, how do you know? Show your thinking. And Bobby shows himself thinking. This is how the autistic brain works. This child was told to draw a picture of what he would look like in 100 years. That makes sense, doesn't it? Another child was asked how to change centimeters to meters, and he said you take out centi. A teacher and paraprofessional in the middle school were working with a class of children with autism, and they wanted to go to the school dance. And so the teacher and paraprofessional, they taught them like the etiquette for, getting drinks and food and how to dance, and they were really well prepared. And so the evening of the dance, the teacher is there, the paraprofessional is there, our kids are there, and some of our kids are out on the dance floor dancing, everybody's having a great time. And one of the paraprofessionals was so excited that she said a little loudly, "Get down, Joshua." And Joshua dropped to the ground because he interpreted what she said. Regarding communication, some of our children are verbal and some are less verbal. Now, whether or not you can speak has nothing to do with how smart you are. Some nonverbal children with autism can be extremely bright. And so, my assumption whenever I'm working with a child with autism is that they are bright. Here is a child with autism who is verbal. He is responding to a video from his teacher. Now, if you'll listen to what he's saying, he does not sound like a typical 11-year-old.
Hello, my name is Natalie. I'm 14 and I'm currently dealing with grueling high school education. I'm diagnosed with Asperger's. That was a very, very interesting video, and I agree with a lot of what you said. American education ideologies, what they promulgate is homogenous thought. And for someone that thinks in a different manner like me, that's almost a sterile environment for intellectual growth. I am very intelligent, and yet I am failing some classes because I cannot understand the abstract instructions of my teachers, especially my Hebrew classes, but I can't understand the abstract instructions, and for simply not doing homework. Also, the teachers think that I am trying to patronize them because I'm more intelligent than they are, and that's very hard because then teachers develop vendettas against me. And at this point, I've just given up. I've stopped looking for better schools. And as you said, yeah, the principal, he tried, he attempted, he said he wanted to knock me flat, and I would grow again from that, meaning I would act differently. And, be neutralized. Now we have homogenous rather than heterogeneous thought. But that's not going to happen. I just realized any high school are going to be miserable. And I just stopped caring. I educated myself at home. But at this point, since I look forward to college, and which at least hopefully there'll be heterogeneous thought, I am going to continue doing my work. But you are entirely right. It's incredibly difficult for someone with Asperger's in school.
Okay. Extremely intelligent. But if you look behind, no organizational skills whatsoever. This boy lives a very lonely life and is misunderstood by so many people.
And my guess with him is he's probably using what we call borrowed language, where he's taken pieces that he's heard that he thinks will make him sound intelligent, but in reality, if he was having to apply information, he's probably struggling with that. So we might be able to do a math sheet if it's a bunch of equations and you're just filling in the answer you know. But then setting up the equation, probably not even.
Or even explaining how he does it. Yeah.
Is Asperger's still a used term, or has it disappeared?
It's primarily disappeared.
Okay.
Okay? We usually just use the word autism. My rule, if a child says he has Asperger's, I totally agree. I don't go, oh my gosh, the DSM-5 is not recognizing that anymore. So,
And that applies to their families too. Some
Yeah.
families, they've been using that term for a long time, and that's what they're comfortable with, so it's perfectly okay. Autism or,
or autism spectrum
Yeah,
disorder,
autism
or
spectrum.
ASD.
PDD.
I'm gonna throw this out there. My son's fragile X syndrome. Autism.
There's an overlap between Fragile X and autism. And in fact, a lot of people with Fragile X do have autism. Yeah, absolutely. And there's another thing that most of the supports that we're going to talk about help any child. But the children with autism, they are absolutely necessary. Thank you for saying that. Here is a less verbal child with autism who uses an iPad to communicate.
My name is Orion.
Orion is nonverbal, but he has lots to say.
I am 5 years old. Her brother named Star.
Using an electronic program called language acquisition through motor planning, he is able to express himself by selecting pictures, and then the iPad generates his speech.
True. Apple juice.
Yes, that's apple juice. Good job.
For Orion's mother, hearing her son's own words for the first time was an emotional experience.
He asked for a banana. Oh, I cried. I cried a lot.
So much so that she now has a tattoo of a banana on her arm.
You know, everyone waits for their child to talk.
Other children may have less sophisticated devices, which is absolutely fine. Here's a child who is using a device that just has pictures Velcro on it. The majority of our kids with autism now do speak. And they have found that using devices actually teaches the kids to speak.
Sometimes families will say, I don't want him using an augmentative device because I want him to talk. When in reality, beginning with that and then being able to pair the pictures and imprinting that in their brain more, then they're more likely to be able to get the words out.
Many of our kids also have special interests. They have something that they love more than life itself, and they know things about it that you and I do not. Some of our kids may like dinosaurs and know more about dinosaurs than a paleontologist. I know a child who likes albino bats and can tell you every fact known. Another child who likes photocopy machines. Another child who likes washers and dryers. Now, our kids, if they have an interest, they will talk a lot about that interest, and they will assume that you are interested also. And our kids don't read facial expressions and gesturing very well. And so, quite often, they can't tell if you are happy or sad. So, you could be listening to a child talk about, medieval wear. And you could be making a look or rolling your eyes, and our child will not know that.
Or you may walk away, say, I'm really sorry I have to go. And what happens when you start to leave? They will follow you because they don't understand that this conversation is over unless we're really clear in what we're saying. Have any of you known some children with autism who have an unusual interest? I'd like to know what those interests are.
My grandson is not unusual for a little boy, but he loves Indy car racing based on TV and for NASCAR. And he can distinguish between the two. He is
For race cars.
and he'll go, I want race cars.
Yes.
And I'll put it on, and he goes, no, we have to put NASCAR and separate, so he can distinguish.
Of course he can, yes. And he probably knows more than you do about NASCAR.
DHL and, is also yellow, but that's a different yellow, they're not, just.
No, okay, see, and that's
I
also,
will tell you though, the reason he is nonverbal is he has apraxia.
Yes.
And it's easier to explain apraxia to people than it is autism.
it is. Yeah. And apraxia is a motor challenge where the individual has a difficult time like forming words. And, yeah, but social worker kids may come to you with a device and with some amazing interest. Yeah.
My son plays keys,
Uh-huh.
and he's a locksmith, we call him.
Hmm?
He will take one key that you don't know what it's to, and put it in something. We lost a filing cabinet key. And when to behold, one of his keys, he brought over, and he unlocked the filing cabinet for me.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And someday he might be a great locksmith.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy, it's true. I mean, so for those families, if they can really find what that interest is and really nurture that, that can be an occupation for many of our people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm a substitute teacher, and I was subbing several times for a elementary class that they were autistic and had other learning disabilities. And I had the one boy who was autistic, and he wasn't speaking. And he had Barney, and they take away Barney, then you can get him to do certain things with, you know, magnetic letters and things like that. You get rid of that and do it. And he had that little habit of when you go out for recess, he'd like to take his clothes off and throw them down the slide.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw that, and I had him out there, so I said, I gave him a ball. You know, let him roll that down the slides. He didn't take his clothes off. I thought, hey, I did something. He rolls the ball down the slide when I'm dealing with another child, and it goes rolling towards the parking lot. He's running after the ball, and I'm calling out his name. He's not stopping, and I'm hearing this garbage truck. And I'm running after him, and I can't run as fast as he can. And I got a radio, and I can't figure out how to work it to call for help. I managed to get to him just as he's gonna put one foot into the parking lot, and I grab him. And then comes a para.
No, our kids don't many times understand fearful situations.
Yeah.
And many don't process what you say to them. I mean, he literally didn't hear because he was off in another direction.
He was just concentrating on the ball.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, my son Eric's that way, or had been that way. He'll perseverate.
Yep.
We went to the local beach once, you know, on a lake.
Yeah.
For the 2 hours we were there, he sat at the edge of the shore and he watched the water go in and out, in for 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all he did.
And he had a lovely time, didn't he?
He did, and he was quiet. And
Yeah, no. Yes, some of our kids, I mean, when they have interests, you know, it brings them great joy.
And just because what brings him joy is different than for other kids, it doesn't make it wrong
right,
or
correct.
right.
Yeah.
It just is. So that was wonderful that you let him enjoy his time at the lake in the way that he could enjoy it.
Here is Derek, and Derek.
Oh, we have another one here?
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, no, I had a former student, who at the time was labeled with Asperger's, and his thing was airplanes, and would go on hours and hours, and that's all we wrote about, talked about, was airplanes.
Excellent. Here's Derek talking about his special interest in game shows.
And for Derek Royce, life is a game show.
You won the highest amount in game show history.
Where he's the host, and anyone within listening range is a contestant.
Let's play!
So, his life is a game show. You mentioned perseverative behaviors, which we call here repeated behaviors. Some of our kids like to do the same thing over and over and over again. And that brings them great comfort and joy. Here is an example of that.
She goes, you're a master spinner. One of these days we're going to figure out how to put this to use.
Now, if I were Santa and I was with this little girl and she was spinning, one of the things that I would do is I would have a puppet. I would spin right along with her.
Spin right back with her.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
It's so wonderful to be with a group that really gets this. Just say.
And here's a little boy.
Does this look like your son at the beach? A little bit.
Yes.
Yep.
Did you want to say something?
You say, 10 more minutes.
Yeah, oh no. Sarah, did you want to say something? You'd like to know the group is saying. Okay. Also, our kids want friends. But most of them don't know how to approach a friend, how to make a friend. If they have friends, it's often with kids who are younger than they are. And one of the words that people use when they describe our kids is that they're naive. They don't automatically pick up on some of the skills like facial expressions, or understanding that adults are in charge of children, those sort of things. Some children may seem rude because they may say things the way they see them. One of my friends was doing some consultation in a class for children with autism, and a little girl with autism came up to her and said, I hope I'm just like you when I get older. I want to have 2 stomachs the way you do. She wasn't being rude. She was like genuinely appreciating the 2 stomachs and highlighting that, not realizing that most people wouldn't say that.
And it's also, there just isn't a filter.
Yeah.
They're so honest. It comes in their mind and it comes out of their mouth. And when they're saying you have bad breath and I hate your beard, they are thinking you have bad breath and I hate your beard. But they don't have the filter to hold that in and say the polite things that are expected.
And that doesn't mean they hate you. That just means they hate your beard and you need a mint. Some of our folks don't understand subtle reactions, and they might not understand that like a little smile means something pleasant, and so they may need a big reaction in order to understand that you are happy. And then also, some of our kids may stand really close to you, and they may actually stand so close that they're like almost touching your nose, and others may need to stand very far away. Here is Kaide Sakai, a girl with autism, interacting and trying to have friends.
Hey, I got that one.
The problem is recess.
All the jump rolls are gone now.
For Kaide, an exercise in frustration.
Can I borrow the ball?
Try as she might, she just can't seem to click with the other kids.
So here she is, obviously, who has an above average IQ. She wants to interact, and she is being unsuccessful.
Okay. Let me go off mic a minute. Before we take our break, we are going to do one of my favorite things, which is a meditation with chocolate, mints, or if I do have any diabetic Santas, or you prefer not unsweetened, I have sugar-free mints. So,
Thank you.
all right. So when we think about meditation, we're going to think about it a couple of ways. One is Sometimes for us ourselves, to be in that right place and that right spirit is things to be calm. And a meditation is just one way to do that. With our meditation, with our candy, it's going to take us through quietly, and it's only like 4 or 5 minutes. This is something you could also do with a child, to teach a child, or to do for yourself to get yourself ready. Or working with children on the spectrum as well, other challenging children as well.
Now, this is also a great activity if you have a child with autism who needs to be calmed down a little bit. So you can join in with the meditation with the child.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and when you've met one child with autism, you've met one child with autism. But there is a movement among higher functioning people with autism that are learning that meditation is just one way to help them.
Those on the tail end are going to get minced.
He would probably want the whole bag, not to focus on one. And he's how old now? He is still young. And we're still, yeah, later, yes.
But he does.
Yeah, maybe not.
That's a frustration.
Welcome to this mindful meditation. We begin by picking up a piece of chocolate, or whatever form your chocolate takes. Part of the experience is opening up the package and maybe snapping off a piece if it's a chocolate bar, or selecting a piece if it's a box of chocolates. And then taking our beginner's mind to this piece of chocolate, treating it as something that you've maybe never encountered before. And as you hold this new thing in your hands, don't put it in your mouth just yet. Turning it over and looking at all of the sides, the glossiness or the dullness, the edges, taking in the color that you see, the way that the light is shining on or reflecting on this piece. And indeed what's happening with the temperature of your hands as it maybe starts to melt that thing that you're holding. And when you're ready, if you're in a place where you're able to close your eyes, go ahead and do so. Now lifting this piece to your face without putting it in your mouth, take a moment to hold it just in front of your nose and using the sense of smell to explore. And just noticing what you're experiencing as you breathe in. Perhaps noticing thoughts about this. Maybe anticipating what it will taste like. Maybe you've smelled something like this before, and you're encountering an emotional tone, an emotional response. Just being aware of what that smell is bringing, aware of what happens within your mouth, maybe even in your belly, as you breathe in the smell of this piece. And noticing as you begin to bring this towards your mouth, maybe touching it to your lips to begin with, a sense of the edges, the texture, being aware of a certain amount of anticipation that is present, and then opening your mouth, receiving that piece without chewing down, just to bring into your awareness a sense of what's happening within your mouth, your teeth, or your tongue may be positioning this piece. And being aware of the body's response to having this piece of food in the mouth. Noticing the different sensations on your tongue. Becoming aware of the way that your mouth or your salivary glands or your tongue respond to having this piece within. And noticing how your body is tasting this piece. In the front of the tongue, the back of the tongue. Just a general sense of what's happening right now. And then go ahead and chew if that feels like the right thing to do. Exploring and taking your time just to notice. And when you're ready, swallowing. And having swallowed this piece, what are the sensations now? What is it that you're experiencing? Just being awake to what is here. And when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes if they've been closed, taking in that visual field, and maybe having another piece.
Okay. So if anyone asks you if you have ever meditated, you can now say yes. So we're going to take a break. And then it's just
Oh,
Then we're going to talk about strategies that you can use to help our children with autism.
if we don't take a break, everybody's gonna take a nap now, so.
Okay, nap it is.
You're very helpful. This is